Where's your father in all of this?
I don't know my father. My mother was never prepared to talk about it.
Yeah. So you've never met him, you never asked questions, nothing?
Nothing. I asked questions. When she passed on before my grandmother.
Yeah.
And then I asked my grandmother, and then my grandmother said, you can't undermine the words of the dead.
Oh.
There must always be.
I gotta tell you, when you were the ANC Youth League president, it's the first time I ever heard of you. And I'm like, who's this guy, man? He just shoots from the hip. He just tells it like it is. And I think for a lot of people, we started getting interested in, like, you know, politics because you were so entertaining. Did you do that on purpose, or was just that's who I am?
But that's what they say about you now. They say we must not come here. You are homophobic. You have no respect for women. You're going to ask me about sex, and I say to them, the question will never be a problem. The problem is the answer. It all lies in how you answer the question. But the question must be asked. It doesn't matter how comfortable or uncomfortable the question may be, but answer the question. So I was being like you. I was being youth. And being youth means you must not apologize. And being youth means that you've got a license to make mistakes.
Of course.
But learn from those mistakes and not repeat them, because if you repeat them, it's a decision. It's no longer a mistake. So young people must be free, and young people must never be judged. You guys have got too much energy that must be harnessed and channeled to the right direction, not to be condemned. The youth of today, it's absolute nonsense. There's no youth of today. That which we are doing today, they did it. They did it. Mandela was worse. Mandela fought physically in meetings with people who were not agreeing with him. Mandela was a boxer. He took it to meetings. Yes, he disrupted Communist Party meetings because they didn't believe that the Communist Party must exist. President Xuma went to Mandela's house there in Soweto. Winnie tells this story during our DC in the ANC. He says, these ones have not done anything. Xuma came to my house, the then president of the ANC, and when I was about to open a gate for him, he refused and stood outside. I must tell that Nelson and Walter that this ANC does not belong to them. And then he left. That's how much they made the president of the ANC angry.
Sure.
But president of the ANC, Xuma, did not destroy Mandela. And when he asked the question, where will we be if Xuma had destroyed Mandela that time when he was angry with the youth? So Mandela and his generation of the youth are the ones who radicalized the ANC and made the ANC to carry guns. Because the ANC between 1912 and 1949, it was fighting through letters. They were sending letters and deputations to London. When the Youth League was formed in 1944, he said, no, this is nonsense. We must take guns and kill these people. This over-celebrated Mandela carried a gun with an intention to kill white people. And that story is not being told because they want to create this wrong impression of the nurse. There was a president of the Youth League that was Muila. One of the presidents of the Youth League, Robert Resha, said in a meeting of the ANC and the youth that revolutionaries must adapt to the concept of murder as a revolutionary activity. So it's the youth. So 1976 youth, you want to speak about them as if they were these people who came from a different planet. No, you know what they did? They went into Shebeens and went to kick the bottles and African beers of the elders. Kick them rudely.
Not the 76.
What do you mean? 76. After they were shot, the second action was directed to Shebeens. They kicked the alcohols, they demolished the bottle stores, and then they were climbing on top of those tables and say, children are dying, you are drinking alcohol. And then that is respectful in the definition of those who want to be holier than thou. It's not true. It was the youth being the youth. It was charged and it needed direction. Someone grabbed that opportunity and said, this youth is charged. It needs to be given direction. That's why they went into exile, to be trained, to be given political education. The first statement of the ANC, by the way, condemned the student uprising in 1976.
What?
And said the students must go to the class. They belong to the class. Yeah. They don't tell you that. Yes. So there is nothing you are doing that is unusual. You are being the youth. You want to push the boundaries and see how far you can go with your. And that's what we were doing in the Youth League.
And you push the boundaries. And you push them.
And then when we arrived in Parliament, we did the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, we pushed the boundaries. They said there are rules. We said, bring here. We read the rules. And then we realized these people don't know the rules. We need to push them. Every time they say, no, you are wrong. We say, according to which rule? They say to us, no, you can't say Malema. You must say Honorable Malema. Then we say, there's nothing honorable about this person. No, the rules say you must call each other honorable. They say, you're lying. Which rule? And then they go to read the rule. The rule says, you must not call each other by name. So meaning, you must say Mr., Miss, or Mrs. So they found white people calling each other honorable. Then they took it and then continued with it. They thought it was in the rules. From 1994, it took the arrival of the EFF in Parliament for those fools to know that we are not forced to call dishonorable people honorable. We have an alternative. They didn't know. So had we listened to this nonsensical criticism, we will not be where the EFF is. But the problem is also with the middle class. It doesn't know what it wants. It says all types of things. It can turn you into an amoeba. You will be shapeless.
What's an amoeba?
You are a shapeless animal. Yeah, you get pulled this way, you get pulled this way. Before you know it, we don't know where is the figure, where's... You are shapeless because you are pulled all directions.